And now it's live. Now
Now it is live.
Now it is live.
I always remember one of the first shows we did, and then Vince just going, "And we're back."
And we're back.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
what's up, man?
Obviously, your boys are playing this weekend. There's a little bit of a scrimmage happening. Not too important or nothing. Just
I thought you said there was a script being written.
Oh no, scrimmage. Yeah, no. The script is already written and locked. So we'll just find out how that unveils itself.
I know there's no script, man.
Goodell revealed the script earlier today at a press conference and said, "No, we ain't favoring the Chiefs. They're on to us."
I know that everybody at least wants it to kind of match our fantasy football league because your boy Vinny G was the two-time defending champion and I lost in the title game. And so I guess I've cast myself in the role of the Chiefs a little bit. So I guess that's kind of what everybody else wants is the Chiefs to lose, right? So there we are. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. Who knows? We'll find out Sunday. Sunday.
I know, right? I took Monday off.
I did too.
Yeah, I prepared. I told Julia, I said, if I'm good, I'm gonna go to work. But if I wake up late, I'm giving myself a buffer. I gave myself an out.
Yeah, I too requested the day off, and I just booked my tea time. So one way or another, I'm going to decompress a win or a loss.
Win or lose, I win.
Yeah,
there you go.
Win or lose, he's going to hit him long and straight on Monday.
That's the plan. We shall see. Depends on how much I drank the night before.
I know, right? Not that much. You'll be at my house.
Only going to kill like half a liter, Jansen. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll let Vince run away with us here. So it sounds like we got some exciting stuff coming up for this episode here. What do we got?
That's
going
right.
down here?
Not only are we going to pick our Super Bowl, we're also going to do some prop bets. We're going to talk about the Warriors and the trades are coming. Trade deadlines this week. So we're going to and the big moves have already started. There was a couple of big ones. We'll talk about that. The Sharks made a trade and we even got some soccer news as well as normal. So let's just dive right in. If football is king, right? So let's just talk about just news and notes right now happening. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Justin Tucker went full Deshaun Watson and has been accused of like basically doing bad stuff in massage parlors. And to the point where he's like banned from a lot of them. And there was like tweets from 2021 like of people saying stuff about this. So this has kind of been a known secret apparently, but now the reporting is out there and it sounds not good. It's not good, man. So maybe he was in his own head this year. Maybe he sucked this year because he knew this report was coming and maybe that was playing with him a little bit. So fuck that guy. And here we are again. I don't know what else to say, man. NFL does it again.
You saying he got kicked out of massage parlors?
Well, I don't know. Well, like he's banned from massage parlors. From back, he can't go back again.
Jesus.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't want to waste another second on stuff
right.
like this. He's a douchebag. If it's true, douchebag, get rid of him out the league, right? Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a whole lot I'm excited for.
That's right. Let's talk about a little bit more exciting news. Myles Garrett requested a trade. Diamador Lenore of the 49ers has already started lobbying on Twitter and on his stories. So that's cool. I don't know how the money's going to work to make that happen, but a man can dream, right? Anybody else want to dream about Myles Garrett coming to their team?
All I have to say is,
sure.
Howie, do your thing.
I just need to give my boy Pete Carroll to give him the old recruiting pitch. I don't know. I think it's going well out here.
Right. Speaking actually, Pete Carroll hired somebody, Sam.
Dude, he hired Chip
his
Kelly.
OC, Chip Kelly.
What an amazing time though. Like my team gets screwed, Vince's team gets screwed, but Chip Kelly, he gonna come right on back and see if he can finish that job. What are the chances that our 3 teams are the 3 teams that he is on the NFL for?
So this is a lot to digest for me.
Right.
So just so everybody knows, Tyler texted me yesterday, Chip Kelly, Raider OC. Nuh-uh. And I'm Googling, and I don't see anything. And I'm like, is Schefter reporting it? And then boom, he slaps me with that. ESPN. And my initial response was brilliant offensive mind. Like brilliant play caller, designer, but I know the history of Philadelphia and the 49ers. Not a very good head coach. Not a very good head coach.
Oh, the odds of him coaching in the NFL for only our 3 teams, it's about 1 in just under 30,000.
Insane.
Insane. Just the odds of that happening. Like it could have been any other team and that doesn't happen. But yeah.
That caught me off guard that, all 3 teams, that caught me off guard. But he then goes to UCLA. He then leaves because they weren't very good, but also recruiting stuff changed. And he was very upset about this NIL stuff. So he takes the 1-year deal. He goes down to Ohio. They win the national championship. And if you look at the Ohio State Buckeyes, like he put that quarterback back together. He put that offense back together, and they won the national championship. They finished in, I believe it was top 6 in the nation in points and top 3, I think, in yards per play. So the man can coach offense. I would say in his past, it was maybe a little bit too ahead of its time. You see the RPO, you see what Philadelphia is doing now. A lot of this stuff came from that era of football. I'm not going to credit Chip Kelly with all of it. I'm just saying from his days in Oregon to these teams, it was a fast pace. It was a quarterback who can run around. It was a quarterback who can pitch it. It was a quarterback who could throw it. It was all kinds of movement, a lot of things on offense. And he didn't lose anything when he went to Ohio. This hire makes me a lot more comfortable if the Raiders bring in a young quarterback. I have been on the record that I would not take any of these quarterbacks in the first round, and I still stand by that. However, if they were to take a Shedeur Sanders or a Cam Ward in the first round, I wouldn't take them at 6, but if somehow that's how it worked out, Chip Kelly running an offense designed around a quarterback like that, I don't know, man. I could see that offense working. Just the offense. He's not in charge of running the whole team.
Right.
And Pete Carroll is not giving him whatever you want, coach, whatever you want, Chip. Like, there's going to be some control. There's going to be some restraints. There's going to, Pete Carroll is the boss. So I actually really like the hire. You stabilize the defense by retaining Patrick Graham. That was a huge move. You keep Rob Leonard, the defensive line coach, who among coaching circles is going to be a name to keep an eye on as a future defensive coordinator. The Raiders denied permission from other teams from interviewing him. You also bring Washington's offensive coordinator out of college, Pete Carroll's son, who put together a pretty decent offense in Washington. I like what they're doing with the coaches. I like that they're doing exactly what Pete Carroll said he was going to do. He was going to retain some guys. He was going to bring in guys that he's worked with in the past, and he's going to bring in guys that he hasn't worked with, and he's going to build this program. I'm a believer. I like the hires. They're not winning the offseason, but they're definitely not losing. You can't win the Super Bowl in the offseason, but you can lose it. And I don't think they're losing right now. Where in the years past, it kind of feels like, even though we were on board with AP,
like you in the past you would step on your balls trying to leave the blocks at the starting line or whatever. Yeah, but
it doesn't feel like that right now. It feels like there's a plan, there's a vision, there's a track. I like it.
I just like to think that it's just the old NFC trying to team up like the Avengers to go after Harbaugh again.
Dude, it's in my notes. It's in my notes. I just didn't even get to it. I wanted to let you guys speak a little bit. I've been hogging it all already.
No, go for it. Yeah.
Dude, Chip Kelly was the coach of the Oregon Ducks. Pete Carroll at USC and Jim Harbaugh at Stanford. That was must-watch. Every one of those games back in the day was must-watch college football. And that was when the Pac-12, Pac-10 was a thing. That's no longer a thing. It's only the two. We might get it back. I don't know. It's still undecided. But the excitement of Pete Carroll going up against Jim Harbaugh was exciting enough. Then you throw in Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator. It's just insane. And then you throw in Andy Reid is going for his third straight Super Bowl. And then you got Sean Payton, who's also a Super Bowl winner. All three teams, other than the Raiders, have made the playoffs. Jim Harbaugh's the only one without a Super Bowl. Well, I guess Andy Reid didn't win a national championship, but the coaches to do it twice. It's just the AFC West is the wild, wild west, dude. With the head coaches, with what's going on, the teams in the Super Bowl, they all made the playoffs. The Raiders are rebuilding. They got Tom Brady. It's bonkers. It is bonkers.
Well, I think the only saving grace with Chip Kelly being there with your team is that he is your OC and not your head coach. So
thank God.
Yeah, I mean, they'll obviously be in the market for a wide receiver. How about Cooper Kupp? He's available. He's on the block now as of today.
Oh, dude, if McMillan falls to 6, I've been going back and studying my college football. Dude, if McMillan is there at 6, I'm done. That's it. I'm taking him.
Right on.
I'm taking McMillan. That dude.
Did you have a quarterback in your second round that you were looking at? I think you had texted.
I was texting you guys. I would think Jackson Dart in the second round would be would be a target. And if you got McMillan and then you get Jackson Dart in the second round, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if it's going to work out, but I like the odds.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, there's his hype is getting more and more. Just so everyone knows, Jackson Dart is a quarterback out of Ole Miss, baby. So no, man, he's showing to be a little bit more in his pro days here to be a little bit more accurate than people thought. Of course, always decision making is something to be questioned, and that was one of his biggest question marks, and still kind of is. So, but hey, I'm not mad at that pick at all. I really am not.
Okay. No, I really like the hire for just the offensive coordinator. I would be not feeling this. I would not feel very excited if, God forbid, something happened to Pete Carroll, then Chip Kelly was the head coach. I would not be very excited. I think I would be more excited for Patrick Graham to get the promotion to head coach. So I'm not on the train of Kelly as the successor in 3 years or however that scenario plays out. I'm not in that camp. In the camp of put together an offense for me, I'm good with that camp. It was that I thought it was Darrell Bevell, guys. I thought it was going to be Darrell Bevell. I was writing a script for the new Raider video, and I was getting ready to talk to Tim about it. And then you guys start texting me about Chip Kelly. I thought it was going to be
that script
Bevell.
In the trash, baby.
I thought it was going to be Darrell Bevell, dude. And I'm going back. I'm looking at my script. Yeah, there was some major convincing of myself that it was going to work out. So I think with Darrell Bevell, where I was at with the Darrell Bevell hire was I had zero excitement. I was like, oh, cool. And then I had to go and look at the stats. And they did put together some offenses that were really good, but they also had like an amazing defense, like an all-time great defense that was creating a lot of turnovers, a lot of 3-and-outs for opposition. So like the Seahawk offense, even though they were led by Russell Wilson and his record over 10 years is amazing. His numbers over that 10-year span is amazing with Seattle, but it still did not. Oh crap, we got Darrell Bevell. I'm super juiced. I was not excited for Darrell Bevell.
All right. I think it's time to move on, and let's just.
I got another baby.
Put it on another one. We got to move on. Time is ticking. All right. So it's time to make some picks. So we're going to start off with the Super Bowl picks. And obviously, I've already plugged it in. Tyler's picking the Eagles. He would not pick anything else. As far as our game is concerned, Sam, it's up to you. Are you going to go with Tyler and the Eagles, or are you going to pick the Chiefs?
No, I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, okay. So Sam is picking the Eagles. All right, let me be absolutely clear when I say this. I want the Eagles to win. I think that the Eagles should win. But for our silly little fucking game where I can score some points, I'm going to pick the Chiefs. And when that doesn't happen, you'll see when we go to pick our actual Super Bowl prop bets, I'm going to pick against that. But I just want to sit for the record, okay? I'm just trying to steal some points here then. Okay, that's it. And if the Chiefs do happen to make all of our nightmares come true and actually win, I win the game. Okay, that's what it comes down to.
You and Roger Goodell win the game.
Anyway, so as for our we have some prop bets too. Tyler, you sent over a nice little sheet with everything on here, and so we're gonna roll with that basically.
Nice.
And so we're just gonna start right from the top. So the national anthem, you have an over under of 1:26.
Yep.
Sam, Tyler, are you going over or under?
With John Baptiste, I'm gonna go over.
Okay. I also went over actually.
You know what? I'll go the other way just to go the other way.
Keep it interesting. Okay. So player or coach crying during the national anthem. I'm saying yes.
It's going to be Chris Jones or it's going to be Nick Sirianni. One of the two is crying. So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I had circled like lightweight. Coin toss. Is it going to be heads or tails?
Tails.
All right.
Yeah, I'm vibing heads.
I put heads too. Okay. All right. So the first commercial act after kickoff, the ones you had listed were insurance, car or truck, alcohol, beer, soda. Yeah, the car or truck is not insurance related.
Yes.
Political or none of these. I'm actually choosing none because I think it's going to be a snack, like a chip or something like that.
Okay.
All right. How about you guys? Insurance, car, truck, alcohol, beer, soda, political, or none?
You know, this year I put political propaganda on here, and
right.
God, man, I'm gonna be so mad at myself if this is right. I'm gonna go with political propaganda.
Okay.
Insurance.
You're gonna go insurance, Sam?
Yeah, they spend a lot of money.
All right, they always do. They're not spending it on reimbursing people. Anyway. All right, so which team will score first? I put the Eagles. Anybody else gonna?
I'm gonna say Chiefs only because Eagles have been notoriously all season long not really great at scoring in the first quarter. I think we've only done it like maybe 3 or 4 times this season, to the exception of both the playoff games that we've scored. But...
Drew Thomas in the chat says, "Boo, the Eagles suck." Welcome to the chat, Drew. It's been a while, man. How's it going? All right. So Sam, I didn't get you. Which team scoring
Which
first?
team will score in the first quarter?
Which team will score first? Period.
I'll say the Chiefs.
Okay. All right. So will the kicker hit an upright or crossbar? I said no on this one.
Yeah, our kicker's just missing them flat out. So I'm going to say no.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say no just because of the odds, right? Like it's
right. Yeah. It's
kind of
Watch it. It hits off the crossbar and in for for the first score of the game. And then
we get a double doink.
All fucked off. Yeah. Fucking off. All right. So the next one you have is, will Kendrick Lamar's first song be Humble? I said yes.
I thought so. And then I thought it might be Not Like Us. So I'm going to go with no.
I think that's going to be second. But okay. All right. So you're going to go no on that one. Sam.
Also, he clean sweep last night. So
yeah,
it's going to be Not Like Us for the whole show. He's just going to start over.
He's just going to put it on a loop. Yeah.
He's just going to go like 4 or 5 times.
Okay. All right. Okay.
He did that at a concert.
Yeah.
So will there be an additional guest besides SZA?
Yes.
Yes.
I have that as well. I think so. I think maybe Taylor comes down and they do like a Bad Blood, like 1 minute remix or something like that. It could be anything like that. I don't know for sure. How many songs will Kendrick and SZA sing combined? Over under is 8. I'm picking the under on that.
I'm taking the under.
I think it's gonna be more like 6.
Yeah, I think last year that this is like the average, right? That I found out. So I think last year Usher, we thought it was gonna go way over, and it didn't. So I'm gonna take the under as well.
Okay. All right, so the Gatorade shower color, the colors that you have are red, blue, purple, clear, yellow, orange, green, or none. I chose clear because I think it's actually going to be water that gets dumped. I'm going boring there. Okay. What color is the Gatorade?
I'm going to go...
That yellow.
Sam's going yellow. Going full Coldplay.
I'm just trying to think, like, when they splashed Sirianni last week, not that that's going to make that anything. I think it was yellow. So, but I think for just, like, juju's sakes, I'm going to go with green.
Okay. All right, so who is the MVP going to thank first? You put teammates, coach, family, God, owner, or none of the above. So I'm choosing God. That's who I'm picking. That's who I think they're going to thank first.
I'm right there with you. It's always God.
Yeah.
You got to thank God.
Yeah. Actually, me personally, I'm more of the thanking Satan type, but that's another story entirely. All right. So which Disney park will the winner say they're going to? It's either Disney World or Disneyland. I'm choosing Disney World.
Yeah. By proximity, Disney World. But the Rams did win, and they weren't near Disneyland, but they still said Disneyland. So, not that the Philadelphia is going to go to Disneyland, but you see what I did there.
But the saying is Disneyland.
It's been World more often than you'd think.
I can honestly say I don't even remember hearing Disney World.
Okay.
I'm going Disneyland.
So you're going land. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the final score. So I have Philadelphia 37, Kansas City 32 with a very nice 69 point total. Sam, what do you think the final score is going to be?
I think it's going to be like 30, 33, 36, something like that. Eagles.
Okay, this is a tiebreaker, so I need something specific from you, bud.
What was the over under you asked?
No, it's just the final score. This is a tiebreaker. And I'm setting like so I'm adding up the point total as well.
Oh, okay. That's what you're saying now.
Yeah, you get what I'm doing here.
Just take the two scores and then combine.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do the math. I just want to know what you think the final score is going to be.
To both scores added up?
Yeah.
No. Just tell me what you think the final score will be, and then I'll just do the math on the other side of it.
33-36.
36-33, Eagles win. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's also a very nice 69 point total.
Your dad says 42-35, Eagles in overtime.
Ooh. Oh. That wasn't one of my prop bets, but I considered putting it on this year. Will the game go overtime? The reason why I didn't is because I didn't want my heart to go through that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So what do you think the final score is going to be?
Okay. So it's going to be 52 total. And I think the final score is going to be 28-24 Eagles.
24. So 52 total. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're going a lot lower scoring than we are. Okay. That's cool. So there we are. There are the props. I'm setting them. I'm saving it. I'm locking it in. And there we go. So there is your football talk. And somebody else start talking.
That's all I prepared for.
That's all I can handle. No, I just I was closing up things. So Drew also says in the chat, tell Tyler to take off the stupid hat. It's making me as a viewer uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're uncomfortable as a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Yeah. Yeah, he's
I
uncomfortable.
think you just lost all privileges to say anything else from here on out, Drew.
Is Drew a Cowboy fan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He must be real excited for that Schottenheimer hire. Talk. You won. Did the Cowboys win the offseason this year?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was the saddest press conference, dude. That was a very sad press conference.
Unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys, the starting gate is getting lined up, but they're still in the
Who had it worse, Cowboys or what's his name in Carolina? Duval.
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty rough, dude.
Yeah,
that's
bad.
rough.
Dude, that was pretty bad. Thank God those are not my coaches.
I know, right?
Dude, I also think it's gonna be easy to talk Kellen Moore out of the available head coaching position, because the only one left is the Saints. And they're minus 60 million in the cap space. So
yeah, good. Who wants that job?
How do you convince someone that, hey, turn this franchise around in a 3-4 year contract? Like, dude, you got to be asking for a 6-year contract, because it's gonna take 2 years to break it down.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, just to get to base level, it's at least 2 years to get it all down to the fucking studs. So let's start talking basketball. Actually, let's switch gears for real now. All right, thanks, Tim. So the Warriors this past week, we talked about it last week. I wanted to see them get above 500, and the first step to get above 500 is to get to 500. And so they get two wins in 2 out of the 3 games last week. They get the win against Utah, 114-103. Then they surprise everybody, get the win against OKC, 116-109. And then they fall on their face a little bit against Phoenix, 130-105. They are 24 wins, 24 losses, 11th in the West. I said I'm not even quite as concerned about the 11th in the West, just get above 500. So we're right there. They got a few games coming up this week. I believe the Orlando game tips off in about an hour or so. And then they go on a road trip. They're at Utah on Wednesday, at the Lakers on Thursday. We're going to talk about them in a second. At Chicago on Saturday, and then at Milwaukee on next Monday. That's a 5 p.m. tip, so they'll be playing while we're talking next week.
Yeah, this is just going to be a 500 team, man. Like, I'm convinced that there's only 2 ways in this. I know we're going to talk about the bombshell that Woj didn't get to drop for us, unfortunately, this year. But there's only 2 ways the Warriors get out of being 500. And the 2 ways is trading Wiggins or trading Draymond Green. Because you got to clear cap space one way or another. And that's your biggest cap killers. And you're not moving Steph Curry, right?
Right.
But we agree on that one. So
yeah, Steph is the only untouchable.
Unless you plan doing that, or moving both those players or moving one of those players, you're going to be a 500. This is a 500 team from here on out. I don't know what else to say on that, but
it certainly feels that way. They're just very uneven, and it's been rough. When they start playing good, you kind of get a little excited. I mean, beating OKC was not nothing, you know. And then just the Phoenix game, it's like they didn't even get off the bus, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, well,
I want to talk about the Warriors, but I think like how I want to talk about the Warriors ties into the headline news over the weekend.
Right. Yeah. So so early, like right after we recorded, basically, I think the next day, they announced that Andre Iguodala is getting his number 9 jersey retired on February 23rd. I love that.
He said they're only retiring because I'm the oldest.
He has a sense of humor about it, but like he honestly, like he was so key in getting us that first of the 4 titles, and I don't have a problem with it. I usually want to have jerseys being retired by Hall of Fame players or guys that are like right there. I don't know that Andre Iguodala gets into the Hall of Fame, but he's certainly got the 4 rings and the Finals MVP is going to help the case a little.
I mean, I know the 4th one, he basically was, a part of the school project.
Right. I mean, he has a gold medal too, from the Olympics.
And it's a basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's
exactly.
the Basketball Hall of Fame. So
yeah.
I think he has a good chance to get in.
He's going to be a borderline guy. If it's a year where it's a little bit down, I think that he might be able to sneak in pretty early. I haven't looked at that yet, to be honest, but I have absolutely zero problem, is the point I was trying to circle around to, with his number 9 jersey being retired. Absolutely.
100%
love that for him.
I do, because
deserved.
number 9 is my favorite number. So now if I play
go
sports
buy
games,
Iguodala.
I can't wear that jersey if I play sports games anymore.
Fine, whatever.
Never mind. Override.
Yeah. Yeah, it's canceled because of Tyler's game.
The Iguodala thing, I don't have a problem with it either, because I think what he means to the franchise at the time. I mean, no one wanted to come here, and to get a superstar to come here and change the culture a little bit, kind of it was the first step in putting this franchise back on the right trajectory. And, I don't think any of this happens without Andre Iguodala. So I think if this were to happen again for the Warriors in a couple seasons, I don't think that player makes it into the Hall of Fame makes it into this retirement, because the current Warriors history is still here. Like,
right.
You put the franchise up a peg. Where before
Iguodala,
nobody remembered the Warriors being good.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You had the flash in the pan that was the We Believe season in 2007. You had the follow-up season in 2008 where they were like, what are they, like 48 wins and missed out on the playoffs.
Right.
So yeah, and then that was basically it. Then you'd have to go back to Run TMC, and then
which was also in a way a flash in the pan. It was
only a couple years there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a few seasons. It wasn't really a 6, 7, 8 year thing that they were together. So it was,
and they were good.
What could have been?
Yeah.
What could have been?
They were good, but like,
Speaking of Run TMC, did you guys catch wind of what Kevin Durant was saying to Gary Payton Sr. During the game?
No, what?
So obviously we know Gary Payton is the king of talking trash. Right? It's just something he's always done, right? But Kevin Durant also likes to talk trash, and he told Gary Payton, while Gary Payton was sitting on the sidelines there, he told Gary Payton, "Are you up here?" Pointing to the rafters. He goes, "I'm up here. My jersey's up here. I don't see you up here." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." But yeah, no, I'm with you guys that Andre Iguodala getting his jersey retired is probably one of the. It is a milestone to recognize what he did. I mean, he was definitely one of the first pieces leaving Denver. That was a pretty solid team, with Felton and Carmelo and all that good stuff. To leave that team to come to the Warriors and then win a championship about 2 years later, like that's impressive, and kind of unheard of. And that kind of, I would say, set the precursor to the Kevin Durant move, the 4th of July move. When that happened, that was kind of a bombshell move. Obviously, I think Kevin's was a little bit more than Andre's, but still a bombshell nonetheless.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Kevin doesn't happen without Andre doing it first, I guess. And then establishing that it's possible to win a trophy here. Yes. Andre set the tone. He set the tone, to borrow a phrase from hockey.
And also, too, guys, to come here but then be benched. Basically to go to the bench, like he became the 6th man. So I mean, he stayed with the Warriors and accepted his role. When he left a lot of good years, there's at least 2 or 3 years of starter minutes that he put to the bench. So
and he still got most of those minutes. They just happened to begin after the game tipped off. So I mean, it's part of the argument that they had said was this is the starting lineup is important, setting the tone and whatnot, but who you finish with, the finishing lineup, that's like the most important. And he was always included in that. And they did move him into the in those finals. He did move into the starting lineup.
Yep.
After like game 3, I think. So really turned the series around. Okay, so congrats to Iguodala, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. So the hot stove, NBA hot stove on Saturday. Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis in a 3-team trade. So the Lakers get Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. The Mavericks get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 Lakers first-round pick. And the Jazz get Jalen Hood, Shafino, and 2 second-round picks.
So Danny Ainge apparently only had 30 minutes to try and facilitate this trade because they were going to move on. It's not very often you get over on Danny Ainge, and Danny Ainge did not know that Luka Doncic was a part of the trade package deal that he was helping out in this situation. So I don't know what Rob Pelinka did or what he said to Danny Ainge to make that happen. That is impressive in its own retrospect. But then on top of that, Rob Pelinka was telling I forget Nico Harrison, right? The GM for the Mavericks. He was telling him that apparently the deal originally had multiple first round picks, Dalton Knecht from the Lakers, and more, right? But then they got chiseled down to what we ended up seeing because Rob Pelinka told Nico Harrison that taking Luka Doncic was a big risk due to his weight and injury history. How do you get finessed by Rob Pelinka, Rob Lowe himself?
This is actually what I wanted to talk about in relation to the Warriors. If you're Joe Lacob, you're the Warriors, how are you not pissed that the Dallas Mavericks didn't put this out there that he was up for trade? Because dude, I understand the concern, the conditioning. I read some of the reports that the Mavericks are concerned about conditioning. He's 25 years old, entering the peak of his career. And what the Lakers did is, they traded Anthony Davis and probably shut the door on a championship window this year. But the window is now open for like 5 or 6 years for the Lakers. You have Luka, the window is open. Don't you think Joe Lacob would want a shot at Luka? Like, I don't know if the Warriors could get it done, but do you think they want a shot?
Yeah.
I guarantee you Kuminga would have been out the door faster than it could hit him.
Everybody but Steph Curry is out the door.
Yeah, it's if Luka is on the table, I think almost anybody in the league is on the table now at this point. You know, like there's very few exceptions. Steph is one of them, obviously, but anybody else, like it's time to start calling everybody. You know, Zion Williamson's like definitely on the table. You know, I mean, what can we get for Zion? Like what is it going to cost to get Zion?
Right. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, you don't want Jimmy Butler. We've already said. I mean, look. I don't run the operations, you know, who I'm just a guy on a podcast, right? But at the end of the day, do you really? I mean, he doesn't even want to sign an extension with the Warriors. So what happened to any team but Memphis? So now that the Warriors gave you an offer and an opportunity, you said, no, I don't want to do that either. I don't want to come to Golden State. Like, forget it, man. He's too much. I think he's too much of a problem and a case head at this point that I just don't want in the locker room. But again,
breaking news: Jimmy Butler traded. I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. I think Joe Lacob. I mean, hopefully the situation with Wiseman and how he overruled that one. Hopefully he doesn't overrule and be like, I want Jimmy Butler on this team, right? So there's a reason why you made your GM. Make your GM do the work that you need to make this team successful. And I think Jimmy Butler's not it. But that being the case, the Warriors are in desperate mode to find a dancing partner to the party or to the gal or to the ball, whatever you want to call it. They are calling every single team and asking if their star player is available. Today, they called Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks and said, "Are you available?" The answer is probably no. They've called pretty much from New York to Minnesota to anyone who has a star player that is kind of on a team that's meddling like the Warriors are to see if they're willing to part way with their star player. So it sounds like they're desperate, man. And I think at this point, unless, like I said, you want to move Draymond Green, you want to move Wiggins,
it's going to take it's going to take a big contract because you have to make the money match because the Warriors are in like that second apron, right? So they can't take on extra money. So they have to basically, it's going to cost a big money contract to do it, to make it work.
The thing is, though, I don't think the rest of the league values some of these players. Like, you look at the contract that Draymond is getting and Wiggins is getting. If there was a deal to offload those contracts and get relatively decent compensation back, they probably would have been made already, whether it's for Wiggins or Draymond. I know people can make the argument about Draymond not so much because of the defense and how he facilitates the ball, but Wiggins hasn't been very good for a couple of seasons now. He's been kind of average, and nobody has made an offer to just even add that,
Right. Right.
So I think the rest of the league is looking at the Warriors like, nah, let them suffer.
Pretty much.
Why help them? Why help the Warriors? Because any move would help the Golden State Warriors. If you were able to unload just Wiggins and take back some contracts that are going to expire, you're helping the Warriors. Why would you give them any wiggle room to get Steph Curry some help? Like, why would you help them? So I think really the only way out for the Warriors is to suffer, and you're going to eat these contracts, and you're going to have to do it again through the draft.
Yeah. And you know what? As long as it doesn't take 40 years for the next title, I'll be fine,
right.
Like,
well, I mean, like, take a page out of San Jose, I mean, they're literally breaking it down to the studs. I know we're going to get to their hot stove here shortly here too, but
so we got one more big trade to talk. Sacramento traded De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio Spurs in a 3-team trade. Zach LaVine is going to Sacramento. Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, and Trey Jones to Chicago. Jordan McLaughlin to the Spurs as well. And Sacramento's also getting 3 first-round picks.
I think San Antonio just really put themselves in the driver's seat to like make some noise here. Like, I know Houston and OKC, again, another example of breaking it down to the studs. Both of those teams are now fighting for 1 and 2, with Denver not too far behind. But San Antonio is definitely they're going to make some noise here. You get Wemby shooting threes and De'Aaron Fox running a million miles and being able to also shoot 3. I think he's shooting like over, I want to say close to like 36 to 38%, somewhere around there. So he's no slouch either. You got Chris Paul, who arguably made last year's Warriors roster just IQ-wise better than what it probably should have been. So I think they're going to be a real dangerous team to get out. I don't think I'd want to play them in the first round.
Yeah. Right now, the Spurs are actually sitting in 12th place right now. They're 21 and 25. They are currently 2 games out of the 10 seed. So, I mean, if they just start ripping off wins right now, they could leapfrog the Warriors and the Kings. Like, they're a lot better today than they were a couple days ago. That's sure,
Well, the Kings giving it up, and just taking all the draft capital. They're the white flag.
Yeah, that's a white flag move for sure. So
they're getting
the
past.
The Kings decided that the window's no longer open for them. So Domantas Sabonis, let's see if we can is he available to move down the 80 a little bit? I mean, that's another one if you're looking for a star. Anyway, so let's just we're going to talk a little bit about the WNBA real quick, just the expansion process. We have Nashville, Houston, Detroit, and Philadelphia have all officially submitted a bid to join the WNBA in 2028. The league is planning to expand to 16 teams by that season. So far, they're at 13 with the Golden State Valkyries. Teams 14 and 15 are already determined. That's going to be Toronto and Portland. And so there's still 1 team left, and the league was trying to expand to 16 teams by 2028. So other cities that are expressing interest include Kansas City, St. Louis, Cleveland, Charlotte, Denver, Milwaukee, and even Austin. So there are, like 10 cities vying to be the 16th team. Got to tell you, I think they're probably going to get to 18, a couple of years after that too, because I'm sure a lot of these cities would make fine destinations for a WNBA team and expansion team. But I think you definitely want to settle and see how the 16-team league looks for a couple of years first, and then expand from there. Just kind of see where you're getting, especially with the new TV contract hitting soon too.
So them submitting a bid, that means that they're officially joining, or
they submitted a bid means they're like, hey, we want to be the 16th team. They're like they sent the bid to the WNBA saying, hey, consider us, please.
I think the team that gets it, or the city that gets it, in my opinion, I think it's going to be Detroit, because I think there's a little bit too much of background noise in the state of Texas and the state of Tennessee. Philadelphia, I mean, they're, until like maybe 3 months ago, they were having issues with figuring out if the Sixers were even going to stay in downtown Philly.
Right.
So they're having their own turmoil. So I don't know how they're going to have a stadium there.
I actually kind of think Detroit might be a thing too, because you have the Detroit Shock name already there, ready to be used. That's a team that won a couple of titles after the Houston like first 4 titles or whatever they were. So like the Shock won a couple of them, and then they ended up relocating to Tulsa, I believe, and then I don't know what happened after that, unfortunately. But so there's a name ready for them right there. You already have a little bit of history, and now with women's sports, like definitely, I mean, we've talked about it. Women's sports is on the rise big time. I mean, and so this would be a great opportunity to bring back a marquee franchise that, but for, being screwed out of it, would still be there,
Do you think women's sports on the rise? I want to say how I want to phrase this. Do you think it became more on a rise because of legalized gambling?
I'm sure that didn't hurt it. Yeah, it's a non-0%. I'm sure. I'm not. It's obviously not only because of it, but like I would say at least 10% of it. Sure, like just having a game on to bet, and it's like, all right, let's check this out, and then people start watching and realize, oh hey, these players are actually pretty damn good. Like maybe we should pay more attention to it. And I mean, it all kind of happened with the rise of gambling. Caitlin Clark being an all-world like talent and branding, whatever, and then US women's national team, the soccer team, just kind of all of it started to crescendo again all at once, and there's plenty of money to be had out there.
Sure.
And we'll get into soccer in a little bit too. There's even like a rugby league starting, a women's rugby league, and the Bay Area has actually got one of these teams too, the Bay Breakers. So and the logos looks really cool too. So as soon as they announce,
say, Vince, it's also too like online, right? Like streaming, like women's college sports is available. You can stream it, so like young girls and just young people in general are growing up with it in their hand. And we can only reflect back when we were kids and all the different interests we had, that were all a little bit different than other friends. We all have like our own thing that we're interested in, and kids are finding more and more of that online, and they're seeing more and more sports. And now you got these young kids that are, I can do this. There is a women's league for this.
And it's easier than ever to watch it too. Like anybody
it's
with an
easier
iPhone
than ever to watch
it,
consume it. But I also think too that some people are catching on that just because it's a women's sport, it employs men. There's opportunities for men to if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, if you're in marketing, if you're whatever, front office, everything that entails business for a sports franchise other than the players, right, is going to give opportunities to no matter what gender you are. So I think people are like, hey, this is like, maybe it's not NBA money, but how long did it take for the NBA to make NBA money in the NFL and MLB? It takes a very long time. It's going to take time for women's sports to ramp up and get there, but there is a demand, and I think we're all for it, obviously, because it's fun to watch.
I'm wearing a Bay FC hat right now. Like we're all very pro women's sports here, absolutely. So I guess that brings us to the end of basketball talk. Let's get into the hockey talk a little bit. Sam and I were right. We picked Pittsburgh as the win of the week. That happened 2-1. And Tyler, you were wrong with the Seattle pick. They lose 6-2. I don't think I even updated the standings. I think they're 15-33 But yeah, they're dead last right now. They are in the driver's seat for the best odds at the number 1 pick again. I'm not mad about that. Upcoming this week, they have games against Montreal on Tuesday, against Vancouver on Thursday, and against Dallas on Saturday. All of those are home games. And then after that, we have the Four Nations face-off tournament break happening. So there's a little bit of a break in the schedule. We'll talk about the Four Nations next week when that happens. For your win of the week, I was going to pick Montreal. I've changed my mind. I'm going with Vancouver. What do you guys think?
I'll take Montreal.
Oh gosh.
They're not beating Dallas since Dallas added the hell of a talent.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of like, I'll go Montreal.
All right. So I get a chance to make up more ground. Sweet. Love that for me. All right. So win of the week. Sam has 8 correct. Tyler has 7 correct. I have 4 correct now. So I'm finally catching up. We're on the way. So we talked about it a little bit. The Sharks traded forward Mikael Granlund and defenseman Cody Ceci, to Dallas for a 2025 first round and a conditional 3rd round pick. So if Dallas makes the Stanley Cup final, that's a 3rd round pick. If they do not, that's a 4th round pick. That would be Winnipeg's 4th round pick instead. So it'll be either a late 3rd or a late-ish 4th, depending on what happens in the playoffs. So either way, when you think about the Erik Karlsson trade, you get the first picks, the 2 of them from Pittsburgh, and now you flipped Granlund, who you got back in that trade as well. You flip him for another 1st round pick, and Granlund played extremely well in San Jose. Like he's almost a point a game player. I think it's 45 points in 52 games or something like that. So he's been excellent. And he's, he has an A on his chest for a reason.
I just want to say, with Mikael Granlund now a Dallas Star, the Sharks officially no longer have a player on one of the 4 rosters, or for the 4 nations rosters.
Oh yeah,
because Granlund was part of Team Finland.
Yeah, I think he was wearing an A on Finland as well.
Hey, hold on.
Oh shoot. All right. So apparently, I don't know where we left off, but we'll just say that Mikael Granlund and Cody Ceci traded to Dallas for a 1st round and a conditional 3rd round picks. And that 3rd round pick becomes a 4th round pick if Dallas does not make it to the Stanley Cup final this year. If they do, it's a 3rd. If they don't, it's a 4th. And that 4th round pick is not Dallas's, it's Winnipeg's. So kind of depends on the situation, how Dallas does in the playoffs, how Winnipeg does in the playoffs. We'll see how that pick shakes out. But GM Mike Greer did it again, basically, is what I was saying. They flipped the Erik Karlsson trade. He flips Erik Karlsson for a couple of firsts and Mikael Granlund. Mikael Granlund then gets flipped for another 1st. So in that trade, you end up getting 3 1st round picks. And last year, actually during the draft, they combined a couple of different 1st round picks to move up to 11, and that's where they grabbed Sam Dickinson. So you've basically turned like the GM Mike Greer's doing it. GMMG, that's the hashtag. He is crushing it, man. I'm excited for to see what other moves he makes, because Cody Ceci for a conditional 3rd. Sure, I wouldn't have paid that, but glad Dallas was willing to.
Well, I just can't believe Granlund got a 1st. Like I don't know if he was 1st material.
I had
Dallas
prepared.
overpaid.
I had mentally prepared for him to net a second round pick for him,
right?
Because of how well he was playing. But a first and a conditional third, god damn, he did it again. What? Oh, love that for us. Love it. That's so good. And like we said, there's going to be a Four Nations face-off break. That's going to be. We'll talk a little bit more about it next week. Yeah. So that being said, I think it's time to switch gears to soccer. We have Wrexham update. Tyler, how did the boys do last week?
Not good. Not good.
Okay.
We
50.
Yeah, I know. Well, the thing is that Stefanich, you should have won that. That's a bottom feeder team, and you lose it 3-2. You do win against Crawley, which is great. You get the 2-1 there. Currently sitting at third place there. Next match will be against Leyton Orient, and they made some roster moves. I believe they just picked up another striker or forward. I have to look and see what it is again. They just picked up another player. He's not going to be available for the next match, but you got to start streaming some wins here, guys. Like right now, it's getting a little thin ice here as far as third place to fourth place, and you don't want to fall below third because it doesn't mean you move up. You got to play your playoffs. So hopefully we can turn it around here. It's just a matter of getting hot and going on a run. And currently we're like baseball. We're in the dog days of this season here. So we're in the middle of it. It's a little rough here, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. There's plenty of games plenty of matches to be had here.
Right. Okay. So now let's come back over to the NWSL. On Tuesday, the day after we recorded last week, Crystal Dunn and Gotham FC mutually agreed to part ways. And then a couple of days later on Friday, she signed with Paris Saint-Germain through 2027. So another U.S. women's national team player heading across the pond to go play in Europe. And so she'll be playing games against U.S. women's national team captain Lindsey Horan because she plays for Lyon. So those are your two top teams over there. And it's going to be kind of fun to see those games, how they shake out, the rest of this season and then into the next couple of years. Closer to home, Bay FC signed defender Kelly Hubley to a 2-year contract. She's a 2-time champion with the Portland Thorns. She was the NWSL second 11 player in 2022. So just a couple of years ago was a highly thought of defender. She was on the U.S. women's national team at the under 15, 17, and under 18 levels. So she has some international experience too. Nothing with the senior team, but a solid defender all around and a good pickup, a nice depth piece added, especially because some players are on their way out. Especially breaking news today, Bay FC announced that Savvy King has been traded to Angel City in exchange for $300,000 in transfer funds, $200K this year and $100K next year, and a 10% sell-on fee as well. She was the team's first ever draft pick, number 2 overall in 2024. She played 18 games, 12 starts last season. She only played in 18 games because a huge chunk of the season in the middle, she was off with the U.S. youth national team playing in the under 20 World Cup, where she won a bronze medal.
Nice.
And basically her and Alyssa Mallinson, they play the same role. They play wing defender. So it's sort of the team opted to keep Alyssa Mallinson, and Savvy King has a lot of trade value, obviously. So they were able to get a lot of money out of Angel City for her. For reference, Jenna Neiswanger, who went over to play in Europe, we talked about it last week. She only got 100K. She only netted Gotham 100K. So they got triple that for Savvy King. Savvy King is very highly thought of, and she's going to probably play a lot of minutes in Angel City and play well. And I just hope it doesn't bite us in the ass too much. Yeah. So one other thing that I forgot to add in on here is Bay FC literally today, they dropped their new primary kit. It's a dark blue. It looks really good. It's orange highlights. So it's a navy blue base. On Instagram, they put a story about it, and like Abby Dahlkemper, Oshuala, and Rachel Kundanji, they all were wearing it. So And some like old timey tailor like doing the gentle stitching and like the ironing and stuff. It's a really nice looking kit. I like this one a lot better than the gray one we had last year. And so like it's a navy blue, and there's like you can see like they incorporated the like 9 lines representing the 9 Bay Area counties. Let's see what else. Variations in like the stripe, like sort of a deeper striping pattern to represent like varied landscapes like rolling fog, steadfast waters, the hills, and all kinds of stuff. It's a cool jersey, and I can't wait to pick one up. That's the long story short. And with that, I think that does it for me. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
Before we jump into what time it is, hold it. This past weekend was the man of steel himself. It was his funeral. So condolences to the Ricky Henderson family and the estate there. Also, too, I wanted to say this. In attendance was a lot of former MLB players, some current ones, some legends, Hall of Famers, everyone you can think of under the sun, including, what time is it, boys?
It's fuck John Fisher o'clock. That's what time it is.
He was also in attendance. A little piece of shit showed up.
Motherfucker. I saw that some people were like selling their Ricky Henderson ceremony tickets. The tickets were free, but they were like selling them for like 60, 80 bucks, $100. And to those people, fuck you as well. Okay.
I also wanted to point out that the Giants have a upcoming promotion for their season, and I like to think that it was made for John Fisher. April 22nd, the St. Mary's College Night at the Oracle Park.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be there too in his piece of shit St. Mary's jacket.
There's a story on Reddit that somebody actually saw him at St. Mary's. And they, as soon as they realized who it was, they said, "Fuck you, John Fisher, sell the fucking team." They started like yelling at him, and John Fisher's like wife was there too, and so they like scurried off like the fucking rat he is.
St. Mary's got a huge win the other day too, and I think they're going to be ranked. So their basketball team, they got a huge win, dude. They're 9-0, 10-0 in the division.
May John Fisher never know peace, especially in the Bay Area.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, like, I happen to know a guy who lives very close to the stadium in Sacramento. How close? He can see home plate from his balcony, and he may or may not be planning something on opening day. I'm just saying that, a little teaser, just a little. We'll let you know when things get worked out with more details, but just kind of stay tuned for that. Okay.
Well, that's all I got, boys. Go Birds. I am excited for Sunday. To be determined on what my condition will look like on Monday, but we will find out.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I just want to say thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thanks for being in the chat, Drew, and my dad, as usual, and anybody else who's watching live, or if you're watching a replay, thank you for listening on the podcast channel. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the bell for alerts for the next time we go live. If you don't have time to listen to the full hour, we're putting out several segments throughout the week as well, so you can watch us in smaller bites. Or if you just hate the sound of our voice but love what we're saying, little small pieces there. Follow us on Instagram as well at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into those DMs. Thank you for interacting with us. Thank you for your time. And fuck John Fisher and go Birds, I guess. Fine, but I'm going to complain the whole time.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.